Hello, everybody. Welcome to Echo Underground. I'm Shanique.
This is Mike.
And on this podcast, we talk about music, movies, TV shows, and any other interesting topics. Today's episode is going to be about the new album by N.E.R.D called No One Ever Really Dies. Now, I gave this album a B minus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought so. I'll start with the good points. The good points was one, it was very creative. It does not sound like any other album you ever heard before. Uh, and I like for the most part, I like the not interesting collaborations. Like they were typical collaborations, but the way they did them was unique. Cause you never heard some of these people, you don't normally hear them on a song like this. So I did like that. The bad points for me was like the difference also kind of for me kind of threw me off because sometimes I felt the song was either overproduced, and also they kept doing this thing where like every time they had a rapper on it, they would change the beat just for the rapper's part.
Yep.
And I didn't understand why they kept doing it because the beat that Pharrell was rapping on was just fine. Sometimes I like to change the beat, and other times it took me out of the song. But overall, like none of the songs really blew me away. I oddly enough, the creativity and uniqueness sometimes was a little bit too random for me. But this album to me is a perfect dance album. Like, and I'm not talking about like dance in a club. I'm talking about like in a dance studio, dancing hip hop, like in a step up movie type
Yeah.
mix. So yeah, overall, I say a B minus. I think if the arrangement was a little bit different on each of the songs, I would have got a higher grade. So, what did you give this album?
I mean, I give this album oddly enough the same grade you gave it because you covered a lot of the points that I was going to use. Because to be honest, I'm starting with the good stuff first. Um, Here's the thing: this album, when I first looked at the track list for it, I was like, oh, this album has some pretty good features on it. Because I was like, even for people like I don't really like, but I know that they're big, and like a lot of times like as features they make a song better. Like Gucci Man, Wale, Kendrick Lamar, MIA. I think Rihanna was on one of them, and I was like, and Future was there as well, and I was like, hold up, this is fire, hold up. And then I went to the album, and don't get me wrong, a lot of the songs aren't good, but like it's out of what 11 songs I believe.
Yeah.
But I think it's like in my head it's like down the middle. Like I feel like literally 5 or 6 of the songs I just like had the same complaint Shanique had, whereas it's they threw everything they had in the kitchen cabinet into it, and like they expected it to taste good. Like remember when you showed me the video of the well not to show me the video, but the thing with the what was it called 7 Up salad. This is a kind of a lot. There's a couple songs in the song album that are like the 7 Up salad, where it's just like a bunch of random ass ingredients that don't necessarily go with each other, but got put on a song. And I do agree with another thing that Shanique said about but like when the rapper came in on some of the songs, that like a beat got changed for it. We're gonna talk about it in a bit, but there's one specifically with Kendrick Lamar that I really liked with the regular beat for, and oddly enough, I didn't like Kendrick Lamar's beat that they decided to change it up for. And I'm like, all right, I guess it was still Kendrick Lamar. He still sounded good with his lyrics and all that. But I feel like it's just there's a lot of over design going on, like Shanique said. So that's kind of where I'm at. And my grade is also B. I think I already said it. My grade is also B minus for this.
Okay, so let's get into our top three. My number three is Lifting You featuring Ed Sheeran. Now, I gotta admit, Ed Sheeran was not needed for this song at all, but I like the island feel of the beat. I thought this song was just a feel good dance song, and this is probably one of the few songs on this album that I would listen to again. And I just, in general, just fell in love with the song, and they caught my attention quicker than a lot of the other songs on the album. For the right reasons. Let's put that out there. So, what do you think of Lifting You, unless it's in your top three?
Not my top three, but I do think that's one of the features I forgot to mention earlier was Ed Sheeran. Like this, this goes to show that they know how to pick some pretty interesting features. Not a feature I saw coming, but I think he definitely made the song. I feel like if there was going to be a feature for a song by N.E.R.D, to have Ed Sheeran on it, this would probably be the one. Cause there's definitely like a Caribbean vibe going on here that he fit pretty well in. Like he didn't have like a super major part for the song. Like I'm pretty sure they took over the majority of it still. But like the part that he had, I actually thoroughly enjoyed. I didn't like the song at all. I didn't like the song. I didn't mind this song at all. Like it was the closer for the album, and it ended with one of their most like they're definitely trying to go for unique with this album, and I feel like this one definitely lands on unique for me. So like I'm kind of satisfied that it ended on something very like out there. Like it wasn't something that followed the normal path of like last song on an album or just any song period for real.
Okay, cool. What's your number 3?
My number 3 goes to Voila featuring Gucci Mane and Wale. Ironically enough, because I'm not a Gucci Mane fan, but I felt like he's just one of those guys who once you're a feature, you do so much better, and that's kind of what I felt here. Like there's an interesting catchiness with the voila that kept like repeating throughout the whole song. Like they did not leave voila for just a chorus.
Voila.
Yeah, and like it was pretty much there in the background the entire time, and it was behind the guys from N.E.R.D and Gucci Mane and Wale. And oddly enough, I dug it. It wasn't the annoying kind of repetitiveness, and I feel like it drew me in that way.
And you know what's funny? That song's in one of my top 2. So I'm not gonna
Hey,
say. And actually, when I say my next one, you're gonna know which number it is. But it's fine.
you're probably gonna know mine too.
All right, my number 2 is Kites featuring Kendrick Lamar and MIA.
Okay,
Now, this to me was a better Kendrick Lamar feature.
I agree.
It was, again, the beat was a little weird, little creative, a lot of creative actually.
There's a lot of creative.
I thought the beat was the strongest on the album, in my opinion. This song had the right amount of being well produced, but it still had the same feel of the album. MIA sounded great. Kendrick's verse was really good. And overall, I felt like this had the right type of creativity, right type of N.E.R.D like flow to it, and the features really made the song really good. So yeah, that's my number 2. Do you have anything to say about Kites?
Kites, I agree with the better of the two songs with Kendrick on it. But oddly enough, though, I just wanted this song for Kendrick. Like, I feel like I don't know, I feel like Kendrick's shown the most, and I think that might just be me. And it's kind of weird for me to I feel like this entire album had like a unique sound to it. Granted, some of them was a little bit too unique in the fact that there's too much going into it. But it's like I can't like even place it as far as like how unique was it versus everything else, because everything itself was like one thing that they did right was like they went off the beaten path and made something out of it. And I feel like this is one of the ones that I'm proud that came out very well with their experimentation here. And Kites, like I said, don't get me wrong, everyone else was all right, but I was really into this for Kendrick, to be honest. But which is oddly enough, the other one I was into N.E.R.D more than Kendrick, but we'll get to that down the road. So I'm gonna go right into my number 2. My number 2 is a really weird one, because I thought it was weird. The one when I read the title was Deep Down Body Thirst. Now,
Wait, is it Body Thirst or Thrust? Because I thought it was Thrust.
Thrust. Sorry. Wait, let me see. It probably is Thrust. I'm probably just messing up here. But yeah, either ways, y'all know which one I'm talking about. This song had an interesting mix of music here. Like, it started off one way with the piano going on and like the singing going on, and I'm like, okay, I guess they're just avoiding the thing that they were doing the entire time, which is like I guess okay. And then like it came back and ended out being, oh no, actually is Deep Down Body Thirst. THURTST. I guess they're just being creative with the title name. So yeah, Deep Down Body Thirst. So yeah, it started off with like singing and piano, and I thought they were gonna go in a completely different direction with it. I thought they were gonna bring like a singer on or something like that, and I was like, okay, I guess. The piano sounded good, and the singing sounded good. Like it wasn't blowing me away, nothing like that. But I wanted to see what it evolved into, and then it went right back into like a hip hop type vibe, semi poppy type vibe, oddly enough. But they kept the piano in the background to like mix with the beat, and I was like, okay, the second song on the album, and I'm pretty impressed. You know, this one right here is one of my very favorites, just for how they threw this together. Because technically, on the outside looking in, it's kind of a mess. But oddly enough, it resonates with me anyway, so I don't care. It's my number two.
So yeah, deep down body thirst, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, it it was a weird switch from the first song, but it
Hmm.
worked, and I thought Pharrell sounded good singing on it. I like the old school beat, and I agree about one thing about the song. It definitely grows on you. Because when
Yeah,
the first
I
start,
agree.
you're like, what the fuck? And then when you get into it, it definitely grows. So yeah, I actually did like the song, but that's not it. So not my number one. Michael's already said it, but my number one is Voila, featuring Gucci Mane and Wale. Now, honestly, my biggest complaint about the song, even though it's my number one, was I thought Wale was trash on this song. Complete
Okay.
garbage. Like, if I'll put it this way. If this was my first introduction to Wale, I would not think he knew how to rap at all.
Yeah.
This was not a good showing for him. Gucci Mane was fine, but you know why? Because he was only the chorus. Um, and I was mad because they switched the beat to a really good beat, and then Wale just did not come through for me. But it funny thing is, if you took Gucci Mane, N.E.R.D, and Wale was like the last 50 seconds of the song, it's still a great song, and to me, it's also one of the best mix on the album. Because there's a lot of mixing going on in this album where I'm like, bruh. But I thought this was actually really well done. So that's why it got my number one. Plus, it was catchy as hell. Like,
Yeah.
and I agree with you on this. N.E.R.D was definitely handled this song on their own. They were like, yo, we got this. Yeah, y'all
Right.
just do this chorus and coming at this end. We got this.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna guess your number one. Lemon.
Oh yes, Lemon.
I figured. I figured that's
This
the.
this 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 this, this one was too easy though. Like usually you don't get my number one, but this one was honestly too easy. Like I feel like we're gonna get into it in a little bit, but Lemon, Shanique earlier said that this is definitely like a dance album. You can play this in a studio, in a club, wherever you want to. You're probably gonna be
Bouncing,
dancing.
bouncing.
Like at first, I was actually when I first heard this on the radio, because this has been on the radio. When I first heard it on the radio, I was a little bit annoyed with it. Then like it's that weird, like annoying catchiness to it. Like it. Shanique said that about Voila, because I kind of said the same thing about Voila as well. But it definitely has to grow on you, and maybe that's just this for me specifically. But I was like, this is that one song where I hear in my car, and I'm just like, just bopping to it, and like, just rolling my shoulders to it and nodding to it. And I'm like, okay, all right, this is the one. If it's making me move on autopilot, then clearly the song's doing something right. No matter how much I want to say it's annoyingly catchy, clearly I like the song, cause my body into it. My body gonna lie. So yeah, Live in my number one and first song on the album.
Yes.
Easy.
So, all right. Well, for what I gotta say, you know what's funny? Lemon is low key social commentary because it talks about police brutality, it talks about
Mhm.
black power, but you don't
Mhm.
really notice that because you're like bouncing around, bouncing. Like you don't really notice all that. But if you listen to the words, there's actually some like really good messages in there. So that's another reason why I like it. The beat was good. Rihanna killed this song.
I agree. I could definitely see in some people's opinion that she's the best part of the song, but I agree. She definitely came in and did her part.
Yeah, and so she was really good. The build up to her, and then she came. She's like, "I get it, how I live it," which is
Mhm.
funny. I pranked Michael with this song. I was texting him lyrics to it. He was like, "What the hell?" Is this?
No, because I was like, we were in mid conversation about something else, and I thought you're actually like saying the words. I'm like, I wasn't registering the actual song in my head, and I was like, oh, she's being an ass. Cool.
He was at work, and I was sending him that. But yeah, Lemon was a really good track, and I thought it was a perfect way to start this album. So I'm gonna put you on the spot. If you had to pick your least favorite song on the album, what would it be?
It'd probably Lightning, Fire, Magic.
Power?
That, huh?
Is
Yeah.
lightning?
Fire, Magic, Prayer. Yeah. Um, that didn't need to be 8 minutes long. I'm sorry, get rid of that shit. Cause I mean, don't get me wrong. Like it did that thing that long songs do, where it's like the last part is a lot of just beat, or like just half of the song is all beat. And this beat I wasn't feeling, so I just set through a bunch of beat that I was not fucking with, and I don't know. This is it's one of them songs that was just like all quantity, no quality to me. So yeah, I'd remove that from the album, even though the album already short enough anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's funny. I kind of also agree, but lightning, fire, magic. That shit.
prayer.
First of all, prayer. That shit has a long ass title for a song. Plus, there's 3 different beats in it. So I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is happening in this song?
Uh-huh.
I only like the first 2. And then I like the singing. So, like, the first 4 minutes was fine. The last 4 minutes, nah, bro. So, I kind of agree with you. The song's too long, especially since what it was giving you wasn't worth it. So, I actually agree with you as, like...
Here's my thing. If it worked upwards, like all the way around, with the where like the last half was good and the first half was crap, I'd be more or less inclined to say it's not the worst song on the album. I'd pick something else. But it just that song was work to get through, because I was wondering like where's the next feature coming in, or that next person from N.E.R.D coming in. If there's something that's going to happen that's going to like switch it around, is there another beat that's going to change, because like this one right here just wasn't feeling. And I feel like the one that I hated the most was the one that lasted the longest, so I couldn't get over that. I don't know. I was just stuck, man. I was just stuck.
It's funny. My least favorite, oddly enough, is Secret Life of Tigers.
I
fucking
really?
hate that song. I was listening to it. I was just... I didn't know what to feel about it. I don't even know what the fucking song's saying. What the hell does this mean? Why is this song even being made? Just no. I don't like it. I don't like that song at all. What do you think?
I didn't hate the song, oddly enough, but I do see it. I mean, I'll definitely say this. It's not my favorite. One thing though, it came at a time where like, because of like the song before it, Kites, I was into Kites because of Kendrick Lamar. Definitely my favorite part. So I was like, all right, we're about to finish out the album. Clearly they're gonna finish strong, and I wanted to like the song a lot more than I did. And I thought the beat was interesting, but not in like a good way. It was like that's a weird thing you put together. Not particularly impressed by it, but it's weird. So maybe it can turn to something else down the road. And at least like the beat was consistent compared to Lightning, Fire, Magic, Prayer. I gotta shorten that somehow. Jesus Christ, that was a mouthful. But yeah, and I was just like, I'm not really sure where it was going, to be honest. This is one of them things where it's like, I don't know.
Alright, so next song we're going to talk about is 1000 featuring Future. Here's what surprised me. Future was one of the better features on the album.
Jesus Christ, that's literally what I have here in my notes, yo.
Look, anyone who's been listening to this podcast, every time Future is featured, I hate this fucking song.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, why you there, bro? But he was really good. He didn't ruin the song. And I actually put that in my note. Future did not ruin the song. Again, this is also another song that has like 3 different beats on it for some fucking reason. But for me, the beat switching worked in this song. And if I had to pick an honorable mention, I would pick 1000.
I would as well, actually.
You can go into your thoughts. I'm good.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Future was, I mean, he was being Future. He was doing the overly powerful autotune, but oddly enough, it's weird. This is like probably one of the most tasteful it's ever been on a song, and especially as a feature. Cause like a lot of the time, like he overdoes it as a feature to like remind you, hey, it's me, Robo Future. But this time was like it's actually like tastefully good, and honestly, Future was my favorite part of the song. Not only is he one of the best features on the album, but my favorite actual part of the song. And I was like, all right, cool. And it's oddly enough, if you listen close to the song, it's similar to Lemon. It's actually like a very like positive song when you listen to it. Like like us black folks are like, yo, we're on 1000 right now. Well, I'm paraphrasing here. But I'm like, okay, this is what's up. This is a odd enough. Like, there's definitely some political messages in this album. A lot of it's politically charged, especially I believe the next one we're gonna go into. But like, Future definitely made it right here, and I'm proud to say that Future's track record on the Echo Underground podcast is looking a little positive now.
I know. Maybe one day we'll actually do an album of him. Cause
Maybe, you never
I
know.
know we avoided the shit out of the 2 albums he dropped last year.
Yeah.
My bad, Future fans. All right. Next one. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Uh-huh.
Featuring Kendrick Lamar. I love the beat on this song. Kendrick was really good, as usual. He was like best feature, and like if I had to name the top collaborations, I would definitely put Kendrick, Future, and then Rihanna, and then actually everyone was really good.
Yeah, kind of like Andre
Except
3000
for
was pretty dope on his as well.
except for Wale. No, he was trash. But everyone else was fine. MIA didn't really do much, and neither did Gucci. So, but they didn't ruin the song, so I was like, whatever. Um, but yeah, this is when I started to note a pattern. Like every time a rapper came in, they switched the beat. But I actually liked the beat that was switched to for Kendrick on this track. So I was like, okay.
Really?
I actually did like it, surprisingly.
This was the one I had a problem with, but okay, go ahead. I'm not.
You know
Talk.
why? I like the way Kendrick's flow was on there. Was the first beat better? Yes. 100%. The first beat was better. But I think because Kendrick knew how to rap on the beat, that I was okay with it. I'd rather they just pick the first beat all the way through. It's not the best beat switch up, but it's not the worst on this album. Trust me. That goes to Lightning Fire over there. But that's my opinion on it. What do you think of Don't Do It?
Definitely like a politically charged one with a lot of not a what's the name dropping of the guys who got they got shot by police across all of America, and like they got pretty deep into it, and like pretty much every verse was like talking about either at least one of the people that got shot depending on what side of the fence you're on unfairly by the police, and they did a pretty good job covering that, and it wasn't like one of them songs that I like attacked anybody. Like it wasn't attacking police, but it definitely brought it to your attention, and it was pretty like out. It wasn't like being subtle about it. Like it was like, yeah, this is what's happening, and we're already aware of that. Just every year something like this goes down, and no need to be subtle about it at this point. So I'm glad they went about it that way. And about Kendrick's part, Kendrick, he followed the pattern very well because like even in his own music by himself, independently, he's pretty much talking about that stuff outright. So I kind of figured he'd be one of the best people to have on the song. But I'm gonna be on the opposite side of Shanique with this one. I didn't like the beat that they gave him. I agree, Kendrick handled himself lyrically. His flow was good, bars all good. I mean, it's Kendrick. He's consistent with that across the board. But I feel like this could have been one of my top 3, at least my number 3, if his part wasn't, in my opinion, ruined by the beat that he was given. Like Shanice said, she didn't mind it, but I do mind it. It was like a blaring, obvious thing to me that I wanted out of the way. But at the end of the song, I actually, didn't mind the song as a whole because N.E.R.D's part was still pretty good and Kendrick was still solid. This was just, more of their experimentation going awry, and it's whatever. It worked out. It worked out very well in other songs' favors, so I can't really complain with too much.
Okay. Next song, ESP, which is basically a song about getting lit. Like that's really all it is about. It's about getting hype, getting that energy up. It's not my favorite because I felt they did too much on this song.
Yeah.
They started off fine. I was with it. I was like ESP, energy, all that stuff. And then different beats started happening. Then they did the slow down thing, and I was like, what's going on right now? Like, why we gotta do all this? Why can't we make a simple song? N.E.R.D. Sometimes it's okay to tone it down a little bit.
Less is more sometimes, okay?
Yeah, so overall, I thought ESP could have been better, but it's definitely, it's not the worst. It's just too much going on that song. What about you?
Team too busy for me too. It's kind of weird because a lot of times I think Pharrell is so good when it comes to music. Like he's produced great music before, and all of a sudden this happens. Like the songs before it, I think up to this point, I feel like the only one that was a little bit too busy certain parts was "Don't Do It For Me" with Kendrick, and I was like, that's my first point where I was like, all right, this album chose to go an interesting route, and then this song came and smacked me in the face like we're like yo, excuse me, we're like they're just like yo, yes, this is what we're doing here. Um, and I think this is also where I came with the whole formula that they're just trying to make 7 Up salad. Like you threw mayonnaise and cherries and all this other weird shit into a bowl and mixed together and thought it was going to be a good idea. And I'm like, nah, I don't like it at all. In fact, we need to scrap this whole beat. Because don't get me wrong, I feel like I like the lyrics in the song, and I want to actually it is about getting lit. And I'm like, clearly it's easy to make a dance song circulating around that. Because I feel like they did really good on that in that end. But I feel like the other side of what you need of the song, like lyrics and the beat behind it, 50% of that was just out the window for me. And it wasn't as bad as Lightning, Fire, Magic, Prayer, God. But it was definitely noticeable. I could definitely miss the song. This is probably my next song that I would take off this album if I had to go down one further.
Okay. So I guess the last song we're gonna talk about, because this album's it's really short. It's only 11 songs.
Uh-huh.
Is "Rollin' Them Sevens"
Yep.
featuring Andre 3000.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's start with the good parts. Andre 3 motherfucking thousand. It's the best part of this. He killed it.
Killed
But
it.
he's always been a good rapper. Him and Big Boy, even though people try to play Big Boy like he can't rap, but him and Big
For
Boy,
real.
they do. They act like the only person Outkast that can rap is Andre. No, they both are really good. But he killed this beat. But and you know what? It's a fun song. You can dance to it. You'll probably get tired out of shit though, but you can have fun with this song. The bad parts. There's too much going on. It's like sample overload. I don't know. And to be honest, I still don't really know what the song's about. But for what saved this song for me is the feature, which came at the end, so I had to like listen to all this other shit first. Like, I think all the features start at the end, actually, surprisingly. Like, you were just throwing all this randomness, and then this feature came in with its own beat, which it did the same thing for Andre. He got his own beat, too. And I like the beat that he was given. He killed this part. But this song was just, like, too much sometimes. I was like, bruh, my head's spinning a little bit. What do you think of this song?
I'm right on board with you. Because, granted, oh man, the formula has gone on about maybe what's where are we at right now?
It'll be the 8th song on the album.
Right, it's the 8th song on the album, so that means the 7th, 8th, and no, I'm lying. 6th, 7th, and 8th songs. Those songs right there were like the busiest songs on the album, in my opinion. And I feel like the one saving grace that came out of it all was Andre 3000. Which the moment I saw him on the feature, I was like, I don't care what else happens in the song. Andre 3000 is gonna be fire on it, unless like they put him as like a producer on or something like that. But thank God he was actually rapping, and Lord knows that's the only thing I came to this song for. Cause like even though he had a kind of a bit of a chopped and screwed type of beat, I was just like, it don't matter. He's kind of like Kendrick in a way where like, yo, give me garbage and I'll make it look like gold, yo. And he did essentially that. Like I actually didn't want the song to end only because what's the name, Andre 3000 was in there for like the last minute, and I was like, wow, that says something about Andre 3000. And I know I'm talking more about him than actual N.E.R.D on the song, but there's a reason why, because I don't really got much to say about their part. I'm kind of disagreeing with Shanique here. Like, yo, they're just a little choppy. I don't know. I feel like what they really wanted to do was make a longer album, but they just like condensed everything into one, and all the unfinished beats, I guess, they just like threw in there to let you know that they were working on something. I don't know. Maybe it could have been good that way. It'd have been a little more consistent with the beat across a lot of the songs. But it's whatever. Andre 3000 saved the song, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we both had the same opinion. Well, guys, we just finished basically all the songs on the album. Closing remarks. Overall, I'm gonna give, I guess, N.E.R.D. I still stick with my B minus very strongly. But one thing I would say about this album sounds like nothing you ever heard before.
True story.
From any rap group. Doesn't sound like any of the rap stuff that's out right now. I don't even know what you would. I know they're a rap group, but I don't know if you would stick them there. Really, it's a little weird. It's out there. It's very creative, and I do think you should listen to it because you might like it. Depending on if you're into this type of music. Because N.E.R.D always take these type of risks. Even if you listen to their last song, they always do these like weird beats and stuff. So you might like it. But for me, I thought this was an okay album. B minus. Still worth a listen. I wouldn't say,
Buy it just yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say buy it. Like, I say listen to it just for like Kendrick, Rihanna, Ed Sheeran, Andre. Even Gucci Mane, I'll give it to him, even though he's just the chorus, Definitely, I say listen to him just for the collaborations alone. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. What do you think? What's your closing remarks?
Definitely one of the experimental albums, like artists will use once in a while to just like see what works, and maybe they use the knowledge that they gained from the last album that they made, which was experimental, to make the next one look good. I feel like this is just one of those ones that it's granted. It's kind of weird that it had to be like this album though, because like the features which should be like the end game. I feel like they brought in some top notch assistants for this album, and I commend them for that. Probably some of the best features we've had in such a small album on this podcast. Now, I definitely agree with Shanika. Like, just let's listen to the song first. Maybe listen to some snippets and previews, because if you can preview part of each of these songs, you can get an idea for what a song sounds like. Especially for that long as 8-minute song. That's essentially 3 songs with minimalistic lyrics anyway. But you know what? Give yourself a little preview. Read up on the reviews and see if you're an N.E.R.D fan. I don't gotta tell you to do it because you're gonna do it anyway. But I wouldn't use this as your first introduction to N.E.R.D if this was your first N.E.R.D album to go into.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, so we're gonna close out this podcast. Guys, let us know. Were we tripping? Like, was this album better, or maybe it just wasn't for us? Let us know what you guys think. You can leave comments. You can like, you can follow, or subscribe, depending on which app you're using, at Echo Underground Podcast. Please tweet at us at Echo U Podcast and let us know what you think. Even tweet at us, or you can even leave comments of suggestions of like any new artists or TV show or music, or even a documentary that you want us to check out. And we'll take yours opinion very seriously. And you can find us on any other social media sites, including Facebook. There's iTunes and SoundCloud at Echo Underground Podcast. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
See ya.